Alright, hey everyone, this is Goldhon4 and welcome back to another video. Today I will be explaining to you how hitboxes work, and here I have my friend Kenton Russell. Thank you Kenton for coming out here today and being my little test subject. So, I will be explaining to you hitboxes and what exactly they do. Now, and also ways that you can exploit them for situations, like seeing in the dark. Now here is actually a little bit dark, and if I flash set 1, you see it gets much darker and it's very difficult to see. Now, if I do the command, which this whole thing will be going over, I'll flash on the screen right here. The command is F3 and B at the same time. Now, it's still kind of dark and it's kind of hard to see. I even have it on moody just to amplify it, but you can see how there's a clear white box around him. Now that white box is something that you can exploit. When you get farther and farther away from them, you'll still be able to see the white box in clarity. It'll be much clearer target than like an average dark player statue. Now see, it also comes on mobs. Like, oh, I guess you can't see that, but when you throw on things like items, you can still see the hitboxes. And then then that'll just make it a much clearer target. And now again, just to toggle it and to turn it back off, you do the same command, F3 and B, and then it turns it off. Now this is especially useful for when you're sniping in night, or when someone just, like an example, when you're doing a PvP map and someone's trying to bridge across the air at nighttime, you'll be able to see their player character or their character model much more clearly, and you'll be able to snipe them, and it'll be much easier to see them. And now I'll get into the technicalities of it. Alright guys, so I've just hopped into Creative World here just to show you what some of the hitboxes look like on different animals and what you should look for on things. So again, we'll do our command F3 and B to bring up the hitboxes. And as you can see, things like the mushroom and cow are extremely similar, or if not the same, and things for taller mobs such as creepers and villagers are very similar, if not again exactly the same. But then when you get to sort of looking at things like spiders, like the differences between a cave spider and a regular spider. Cave spider is obviously a smaller mob, so obviously it has a smaller hitbox. But when you look at things like the legs, the hitbox is a perfect square. It doesn't go around each individual leg, and it doesn't go around like the head or whatever, just a square around the mob. So you should keep that in mind when you're fighting. Hitboxes aren't perfect when they're displayed like this, but they give you a much broader target of what you could be hitting. Like it goes through the arm there, and it goes through the top of the head to a certain extent. But things like when the creeper, since the creeper's thinner body, if it were to hit there where there is no body, it would still damage the creeper. And same thing with the spider. If I would try to hit the spider's legs, it wouldn't work. If it hit right there, where there's technically no hitbox, it would still hit it. Again, same for the cow. That's why lots of people have sort of found that you can't hit the cow's head, because there's no hitbox there. Again, when you hit like in between the legs, where there's technically no hitbox, there is one. Or at least one is rendered. And you can see obviously there's difference between things like the big slime, medium slime, small slime, etc. And yeah. Alright, so I just hopped a little ways over from here and turned my brightness all the way back down to moody just to simulate a dark situation. But as I said before, or way like in the first section when I was with another player, it's extremely helpful for sniping. Now, hitboxes can be kind of glitched, like you see some are sort of darker and some are lighter, but it still gives you a much clearer idea of what the target, like where the target is. And also you can see that there's hitboxes around the arrows and things like that, and you can judge it. You can judge where your target, also where you're sniping, where your arrow lands much easier. You can judge how to change the shot and where to change it. And also, it can kind of sort of fill up your screen really fast when you're sniping mobs, because of things like XP. And I'll just show you an example of how your screen can get completely and totally spammed by these hitboxes. Now, things obviously like this. when there's so many of them in such a small area, it sort of glitches out and actually does a really cool pattern, especially going to F5 mode. It sort of does this sort of square type thing, which is kind of expected, but yeah. And also you notice that even though the XP orbs are slightly different, they all have an identical hitbox. And then you can just sort of watch this. And also, something to note, when you go into F5 mode, you may wonder why your hitbox is way above your head. Now, that's just something that happens with the character model when it's rendered. That's not what your actual hitbox is, that's just what you view it as, because you're viewing yourself at head height. It's rendering your view at your head height, and when the hitbox is trying to render at your feet. So when it places your view at your feet, and you're viewing at your actual head height, it moves it up like that. So that's kind of why that's sort of glitched out. Alright, and here are just a few miscellaneous things to note before I wrap this up. Things like sand and gravel, when they're falling, they are rendered in entities, but when they land, they are rendered back in their normal form. As you can see, when they become an entity temporarily, they have that hitbox that can sort of be affected. And now, same with TNT after being lit. And yeah. And also something some people may wonder is that do different like sized items on the ground have different hitboxes? And the answer is no. That the hitboxes are exactly the same for all items, no matter how big or small they are when dropped. Like you can see the example of the chest and the rail here. And Mr. Slime. Okay, and also another thing that you should note is that all minecarts have exactly the same hitbox, no matter what type of minecart they are. Alright, now I'll just get into a quick overview of everything we've gone over. F3 and B to turn it on and off. Different mobs have different hitboxes. Extremely useful for sniping, especially characters. Minecarts and other objects can have the same hitboxes even though they look different. Yours is glitchy as hell. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you found this video helpful, feel free to leave a like below, or even subscribe to my channel if you like the rest of my content. I highly advise that you check it out. And also, if you're interested in a few other technical aspects of Minecraft, I'll be starting a playlist on this called MC or Minecraft Wonders. I'm not really sure at this point, but that's just a little heads up for people in the future. One other one that I've done is how speed potions can affect you, and exactly how they affect you when you're running, sprinting, etc. So if you want to see that video, just click on my pointer in the center of the screen right now if you want to go see that video. Now, but anyways, if you do find this video helpful, like or even subscribe, or leave a comment below suggesting what I should go over in Minecraft, if it's technical or anything of that sort of nature. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Cold On Vor. Thank you so much for watching.